crap. Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdcore Podcast, the podcast that reviews the movies and talks that nerd shit. This is episode 531, and it is our conclusion to our Ingmar Bergman Month Part 2, as we look at his 1968 film, Hour of the Wolf. Of course, this is the Nerd Chicano here to host the show alongside my wonderful co-host, Brad Young Yoda.
Speaking of Hour of the Wolf, we're fucking late.
Yep. Yep. Oh!
No.
Of course, joining us again, as we have been doing it this whole month, none other than Ingmar Bergman connoisseur, Aiden Birds.
What up? Coming to you live from 11 p.m.
Yeah, you got work tomorrow too, huh, motherfucker?
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, we work from home.
Yeah, we 25-minute episode. We don't
we
spend too
we,
much time
we
on
good.
it. Imagine if this was like a live show episode, like fucking an hour of episode.
Yeah. Like we're doing this tomorrow.
I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. But it's pretty simple. We just 25 minutes. But Brad, I know you're kind of salty, but yeah, well, how you been, Brad? How was your day today?
Doing all right.
Yeah.
Nothing much to say. I got my new laptop in. So
Oh, nice.
that's
Nice.
exciting. It's only a
How's-
$300 laptop, but that's so I can edit shit.
Yeah. How was your first day back at work since the vacation?
Not bad.
Yeah.
Uneventful.
It's work, yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
putting together a presentation, but I'm like off next week, so
Yeah.
you're going to figure it out.
You'll find out, right? You'll
Yeah.
find out. Yeah. And what about you?
Pretty good. Not too much today. I feel like work was pretty chill. Like not everyone's kind of back into the swing. Like no one was emailing me any bullshit today. It's pretty good.
Honestly, this is always the slow time of the
Honest,
year.
yeah. Like I love that shit. Just
Yeah.
everyone's just checking out. I'm like,
Yeah, like literally, I would come into work, like when like years ago, I would come into work because all the supervisors would be gone on vacation, and I just sit in work and be like, la da 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 da. No one's gonna get me to do anything. So
Yeah.
I do what I want.
You're like, yeah, I'd like to see you try. Tell me to do something. Yeah. Oh my fucking god.
I'll teach them to take 2 months off.
Yep. Oh, you fucking crazy, bro. But I'm glad y'all had a good day. I just went to work and it was a pretty slow, chill day at work. Got to watch the games though, so I like my job. I like my job. Yeah.
Get paid to watch.
The World
football.
Cup. Yep. It's not my fault nobody wanted to check out stuff while I was working.
you take those days, huh?
Mhm.
Damn, bro. You gonna tell me I shouldn't take advantage of that? Come on.
No, always take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Sit
It's like, if
there
I
and
could
just
watch the Saints
twiddle
play-
your thumbs. It's like going to the bathroom. It's just like, yep.
Like Brad's like, if I got paid to just watch these Bergman movies, fuck, I'd do it.
Man, I'd be watching. I'd already gone through the whole like Bergman series twice. Like, man, you paying me for this shit? All right.
I get
Now,
to sit in my
now we're
office.
talking different.
Yeah. Oh man, but I hope everyone's doing well. I hope that this episode finds you well, and I hope that everybody is excited to see us complete this second month that we do on this famous Swedish tour. We were really thankful that we were able to do this with Aiden because he said that December was going to be a little busy for him, so he said, "Fuck it, we do it in November then. Well, let's go. We'll
Yeah.
do this."
Yeah.
But
Can I
Yeah.
just say I went like I was scrolling through the videos because I was trying to download videos to edit for
mhm.
TikTok and shit, and I landed on a 2020 video of all three of us, and I was in fucking quarantine.
Oh man, I'm telling you,
But
man.
it looked about exactly the same. It's just I was in quarantine. I looked horrible.
Yeah. But hey, man, what's it called? It's fun. We were able to do this, and now we got through a good amount of Bergman now. Next year we'll do it again. Let's go. We'll do a third month, and we'll just keep going until we have no more Bergman to talk about.
Or until Aiden doesn't show up.
If I'm just dead, my old age.
Yeah,
We've
Yeah.
been at this for 30 years.
yeah.
That
Fuck,
would be
man.
Hitchcock month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Hitchcock month and fucking I don't know, bro. It'd be crazy, bro. No, I do not have time. Also, silent films are really, really hard. Like I respect the fuck out of silent films. You know, it paved the way for us to get here. But holy shit, a three
I
hour
think
silent film? No,
I
thank
feel
you.
like that'd be hard to review though. It'd be like, yeah, I like the music.
I love the way that
Yeah.
love the way that the dialogue
I
popped up
like
on
I
screen
like
there.
the font they used. That
Yeah.
was great.
Oh man, but
There's like always like two different, like maybe three different fonts too.
Yeah.
Unless they like wrote that shit on there. It's like it's just
Papyrus.
hell.
yeah.
Comic Sans.
Honestly, would love to go back and see some old ass movie with just Comic Sans. Like they invented
Bro,
Comic Sans from
imagine.
some shit.
Fucking ridiculous that would be, bro. Well, um, I gotta say though, what's it called? I can't wait for next year when we get to do this again. But without further ado, y'all, this is my second pick, and it is from 1968. So let's get to reading from our one and only source, Wikipedia. Hour of the Wolf, or how it is pronounced in Swedish. How is that in?
Varje timmen.
All right, which literally translates to the Wolf Hour.
Yeah, that's a pretty direct one.
Yeah. Is a 1968 Swedish psychological horror film directed by Ingmar Bergman and starring Max von Sydow and Liv Ullmann. The story explores the disappearance of fictional painter Johann Berg, played by von Sydow, who lived on an island with his wife Alma, played by Ullmann, who while plagued with frightening visions and insomnia. Bergman originally conceived much of the story as part of an unproduced screenplay called The Cannibals, which he abandoned to make his 1966 film, Persona. He took inspiration from Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's 1791 opera, The Magic Flute, which I believe is also a film by the same name by Bergman, right? The
It
Magic
is,
Flute?
yeah.
Hmm. And E.T.A. Hoffman's 1814 novella, The Golden Pot, as well as some of his own nightmares. Principal photography took place at Hovshollar, Stockholm, and Fjöro. Themes include insanity, particularly as experienced by an artist, sexuality, and relationships conveyed in a surreal style and with elements of folklore. Analysts have found allusions to vampire and werewolf legend. Authors have also connected the work to Bergman's life and his relationship with Ullman. Bergman said he was experiencing his own hour of the wolf when he conceived the story. The film was initially met with negative reviews in Sweden. In later years, Hour of the Wolf received generally positive reviews and was ranked one of the 50 greatest films ever made in a 2012 director's poll by the British Film Institute. The film was followed by Bergman's thematically related films Shame in 1968 and The Passion of Anna in 1969. Ullman won awards in 1968 for performances in both Hour of the Wolf and Shame. I have never seen Shame. I do have access to it though, and I do want to get to watching that one soon. Of course, written and directed by Ingmar Bergman, produced by Lars Ove Kariberg, starring Max von Sydow, Liv Ullmann, Gertrude Fried, Georg Rydberg, Erland Josephson, Ingrid Thulin, and cinematography done by the GOAT himself, Sven Nykvist. Edited by Ulla Rieg, music by Lars Johan Ver, and sits at an hour and 28 minutes, y'all. And it made in the United States $250,000. Pleasure to see you in here, Stacy. Thank you for being here with us. Yeah, I experienced my own Hour of the Wolf once. Turns out it was just heartbreaking. Gotta love Stacy, right?
I just like how Sweden was like, fuck this film.
Yeah, Sweden's like, fuck this movie. I don't get it. And before we get into like any of the like the review, you have anything to talk about from the book that you might have read from this?
Yeah, not like a ton. I got like he said he was talking about like how it was met with kind of negative reviews though, and how people were saying it was kind of like a step back from Persona. He didn't really said he viewed it that way. Like he said, like if Persona maybe hadn't had the success that it had, then he might not have made like this particular film, but he said it didn't feel like a regression for him, as more as just like kind of like he put it like as like a weird step in the right direction for him. So he was like aware it was very different from him, but he felt like it was still like um progressing towards something else, but just in the kind of a through a different like avenue, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and open it up here, and we'll go with Aiden first, because guess let's go should go first for this month. So, Aiden, what are your initial thoughts on Hour of the Wolf?
You know, did not really understand what the fuck was going on for a while in this one, dude. Um, like love the way it was like kind of shot and like and presented, I guess. Like, but it was very hard to discern like exactly like what the fuck was like real and what was just like his crazy like visions and whatnot, or like what like was just stuff from the past and all that stuff. So like you could tell some stuff like Sven had kind of chosen a very different way to shoot that kind of like other scene, I guess, where it was like very much like there was that one scene where he's like on the cliffs with that young boy, and he was like it was very obviously like overexposed. So, it was like a very
Oh yeah.
different kind of period in time and stuff. But there were some things where you're like, I don't really understand exactly what's real and what's not. But I guess that's kind of also playing into like Johan's like mindset at the same time too, where he's like kind of like unsure like what he's seeing.
He just yeeted that kid off the cliff.
He really did.
Yeah.
Apparently that was also like that kind of area was also where they filmed some stuff for the Seventh Seal in
Mm-hmm.
Holar.
All right. Brad, what are your
I
initial thoughts?
I genuinely really liked this film. I thought it was a legit horror film with some creepy Adams Family-ish kind of going on. That's kind of what they remind me of. And I genuinely liked. I kind of liked not knowing what was real and was not. It was like it was kind of. I thought this film was kind of like based about schizophrenia. That's kind of how I was seeing it, and I thought it was really cool that you had this one woman who's trying to deal with this man who's not sleeping, who's paranoid as shit, who's just gone off the deep end, and then he goes to a castle, who knows for fuck reason, with a family that might or might not exist, and drags his wife with him. I mean, it's all very interesting and very cool looking. And on top of that, this seems like a foundational horror film because Spielberg totally stole the Jaws theme out of this. And if you don't think that's Jaws theme, then you need to get your ears checked because that's the Jaws theme. Also, this dude literally slapped a guy, just fucking backhanded his ass.
That was incredible.
that was cool. So I this is probably my favorite movie of the month.
Brad. I've got to say that this is probably one of the most interesting Bergman films I've ever seen. I'm going to be very hesitant to fall into hyperbole here and say this is my favorite Bergman, because I definitely believe I need to rewatch this motherfucking movie, because
there's a bunch of shit that we probably missed on the first. Like, this is one of those you got to rewatch, because why is the dude going on the ceiling? I don't know, but I liked it. I liked how that was shot.
Like he said something very early on about someone who was like a man who was a spider, like someone he was painting.
Oh yeah, and then the Birdman, and then the lady when she removed her hat, removed her face, and he had that in there. It was like, well, okay.
Which that was also like kind of like the Spider Man, the Spider Man stole this. I guess might have been like kind of like alluding to Through Last Darkly a little bit with that kind of schizophrenia, where that woman like thought God was a spider or some shit. So I don't know. My man Bergman just loves seeing shit in spiders.
Like spiders, bro.
And if he's suffering from this kind of insomnia, and then on top of this, he uses some of his own dreams. Bergman needed help. He needed to talk to someone.
And it's like, you look at this film and you look at the life of Ingmar Bergman. Like we joke around about it all the time. Like, the man went through 7 wives, 7 marriages. And that's not counting how many possibility, like, little side pieces he had on the side. It doesn't talk about like past girlfriends and stuff. And it's like, you look at it and you're thinking like, this man probably was one hard ass man to have to deal with.
Oh yeah.
And yet all
Yeah.
of his movies seem to kind of like bring up the fact that, oh, these women aren't the problem, it's the man. And it's like,
It really is.
I mean, if you go through Seven Wives, I think you kind of get
Kind of
that.
yeah.
They're
understand that.
probably not the issue.
And yet you're kind of sitting there and wondering like, what the fuck is Ingmar trying to tell me? Because like if he feels like this is like supposed to be a self-exploration of his own psyche, then like you would think he would be able to put himself in the position to say, no, I'm the one who was right. Yet this whole movie, you're just like, I would hate to have to deal with this motherfucker every single day. And that truly is the bottom part. This horror, the horror in this movie is the fact that all of these women have to deal with this motherfucker.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Also, this man is writing in his diary about going up to the side chick while his wife's pregnant. I'm just saying he ain't the smartest man.
Yeah. Nyquist, I love the way that he shoots this.
Oh, the framing from the opening is great.
Yeah. Um, some of those like different kind of camera movements he does there, like he kind of moves the camera a little swiftly, and he like there are things that you kind of see a little bit in Persona, and like I understand why people would be like would hate this movie after like because you're following this. This is your follow up to Persona. Because let's be real, like he made a little short film, and then he was in an anthology film in between this one in '67. But this was like his theatrical like follow up to Persona. So I would understand why people would be like, what the fuck did you just do here? Like, this is everything that you were doing with Persona. Like, you decided to flip it on its back and like shit on it. And you're doing something that's like less on the nose, but you're also trying to be way more, what's it called, subtle. It's like, I don't understand what you're trying to do here.
And I can see people like, especially on the first watch, and especially after following Persona, not getting it. Like
Yeah.
I can see
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see that because even on my first watch, I watch, I'm going, what the
The
fuck?
fuck?
And I'm enjoying the film, just like okay, like let the chaos run, Bergman, like go for it, go
Yeah.
full horror movie there. But I can see like you're following up your biggest hit with a horror film.
Yeah,
I
and there
can
may
get
have been like plenty of people in Sweden or whatever who hadn't really seen some of his earlier work too, and they're just like, "Oh, this man made this," and they might not even have seen Persona, but they just like knew it was such a big deal. They're like, "Oh, let's go check out this Bergman guy," and then they go to the theater and see that. They're like, "What the fuck?"
yeah, and
It's the
considering
guy who made the
we've seen
magician.
two films of his in the past weeks. There were kind of similar themes. There's a horror movie and then a really depressing circus film. So
Yeah.
you combine those, you kind of got this.
Yeah. So it's like for us, it's not like this wasn't probably a big shocker.
Yeah.
Probably it was definitely different, but you're like, "Ah, yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, this is Bergman." Uh,
Yeah, and yet like this is truly like right down to it because everything else like you could say like it's kind of horror adjacent. It's not really like invoking a lot of horror. This movie's straight up fucking horror. Like this
yeah,
is
yeah.
horror.
Hmm.
And I love that, man. I love the score in here. Oh my god, that score is fucking bone chilling. Um and I really enjoy this movie. I gotta say, like, there's a lot of images here. Like, I'm just like, I've just finished the film, so like, I'm like, it's pretty fresh in my mind. But like, towards the end, you have this like scene where it's like really high contrast film with Liv Ullmann in it, and then but you also have that one scene before where like the naked ladies in back of him, and you just have like the focus kind of racking, and
And she's
I'm
just
like,
laughing in the background, and it's just
yeah,
all yeah. I'm still questioning on some of the scenes of like, why did he kill the kid? I don't know. Is that like him killing his childhood? I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe he really did drown a child.
do we all have any idea 3 years later what the fuck Big Mar's trying to say in Persona? Because I don't think any of us have any
I
fucking
mean, I'm
clue.
still trying to figure out why a dick is the first thing he shows.
Yeah, but I gotta say, I love this movie. It's just shows us how much of dreams, like how much dreams interest Bergman, and how much like they influence a lot of his filmmaking, especially in this period in the late '60s. Um, I gotta say that I don't love this as much as Persona, but like I've got to say that if I would want to watch two movies back to back, I'm gonna fucking watch Persona and this one back to back because I want to know what the fuck is on. Because it's like Aiden told us, what's it called, for Persona. He wrote that while he was in the hospital and he was on like a
Yeah.
lot of drugs. And what the fuck did he write this one during? Because
I
like
mean,
obviously this
this was
wasn't the
him getting off the
drugs.
drugs.
Yeah. But God, man, this movie
This
was
is
really,
just, this is just a great horror film. Like,
fuck yeah, it
like we
was.
just had horror month, and there were some shitty horror films.
Yeah.
So it was nice seeing an actual like well done horror film, especially from the '60s.
Yeah. Excuse me. Um, but I loved it. I think before I can give it like a big like fat 10 out of 10, I've got to rewatch this. Like I can't base myself on my hyperbole right now. But I know that I'm like I really like this movie. It kept me engaged the whole time. This movie did not need 1 minute less or 1 minute more. This was perfectly paced as it was. We did not need any more. And I'm pretty sure if you put more in there, I would have been even more confused than I am right now. But
He probably
and
could have.
uh, any final thoughts here, Aiden?
No, I think you kind of put it right on like a nail on the head there. Like that definitely needs a rewatch or like 5 more, I think, for me to kind of like assess it fully. But like definitely it was like such an enjoyable film to watch, even if when you don't even know what the fuck is going on, you're like, this is, and it's like visually stunning too. So it's like it's kind of a whole combo wombo.
You know it's something special.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, what's it called? I'm pretty sure this is part of the set. So just the restorative work done to this one was fantastic. Obviously I didn't get to watch this on a, my fucking, what's it called, on Blu-ray because I don't have the set. But on digital, it looked great. It looked like they did a great job of restoring this. So I can only imagine what it looks like on the disc. So, but I hope next sale, when I'm doing better financially, I will be able to get that set. But we'll see. But Brad, any final thoughts here?
Uh, I just thought this was a very enjoyable movie, just even for the fact I didn't quite understand everything going on in the movie. I mean, it just visually stunning, and honestly, it's a horror movie. It's psychological horror, so
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a little confusing in my eyes.
fun for the whole family. 100%. Watch this with your family.
Yeah, throw your kids in there. Tell them like,
Yeah.
don't go swimming near strange painters.
All right.
That's
Well,
good idea in general.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be hard, y'all, but we have to do it. Final verdict here. I'm going to try to give myself a score right now. Give y'all the score, but I'm sitting at least an 8.5, 8.75 out of 10 right now. I do not know where the fuck I put this right now because I need that rewatch. But Brad, uh, before we get to like the very accurate number that Aiden's about to give us, what is your final verdict?
I know nobody else here is going to do it, so I'm going to do it. 10 out of 10. Go watch this shit.
All right, Brad. Brad did not care. He's like, I'll fucking do it. I'll do what both of y'all want to do. All right, Aiden, give us your very what's it called? Dewey Decimal accurate.
I don't think I have a precise one for this either, because it's like it definitely needs another rewatch. So it's probably between like an 8 and an 8.5, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
8.3.
It could go up. Yeah, maybe it could go up to like an 8.862 or whatever the fuck, but I think I need to understand it and kind of sit with it a little bit more.
Oh god damn it. Well, thank you either way for trying to give us a number there. Yeah. Sometimes you get an accurate or sometimes you get an estimate. And in this case we got an estimate.
This is an estimate kind of film.
It fluctuates.
It fluctuates, man. It needed a random flashing of a dick. That's what it needed. That's what it needed.
I mean, we
Speak for yourself, bro.
we got boobs. What more do you want?
Yeah. All right, man. Well, that's been our review of Hour of the Wolf. Of course, y'all, what's it called? The month actually concludes on the Patreon when we can get to our Patreon mini because we have like other ones that we need to fucking do. But we will be doing Summer Interlude on the Patreon mini. So if you guys do want access to that, go to patreon.com/nerdcore. But we want to thank you all so much for tuning into the review. If you're watching this or if you're listening to this, it is late, so I am not going to go ahead and go on my big spiel of what you're supposed to do. You know what you're supposed to do. Subscribe, like, turn on the notification bell, leave a 5-star. That's what you're supposed to fucking do. You know what you got to do. Aiden, let them know where they can find you, bro, because this is gonna be the last time for until next year that they hear from you.
Twitter at aburns BYRNES152. Instagram at Aiden.Burns AYDN.BYRNES.
Yeah. Any words that like they should get that set, right? They should 100% get that set.
Get that.
Throw $239.99 on it.
Get that like that half off shit, and you're good.
Yeah. Oh God, man. Aiden, it really was a pleasure, bro. We love talking
thanks so
to
much
you.
for having me on again, guys.
We should need to do part 3 next year now.
Let's fucking do it.
Get to it. Oh man. Just
Schedule it in.
all but to call the late 60s Bergman. Yeah.
Also,
Always show up at the end. Always
our
show up.
other Aiden always shows up at the end.
Yup. We want to thank our Patreon supporters because without our Patreon supporters, it's not possible. And you all keep this network afloat. We want to especially thank our wonderful producers and our writers. And we want to thank our executive producer, Shane. Where can they find him, Brad?
You can follow our friend Shane at twitch.tv/XSRK or on Twitter at thriftedIL or go buy something from the Suppy God at Present City Vintage in Illinois.
Yes, sir. Of course, we want to thank our writers, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
At Real Nerdy Dad on Twitter. Go follow him. And then our wonderful Kylie.
Kylie, not in the chat.
If you want to see what Kylie made us watch last week, check that out here on the channel. We talked about Mortal Kombat Legends, Snowblind. Pretty interesting little animated film.
I made a joke about Texas.
Yep. Check it out. And you can follow Kylie at Kylie PLI on Twitter and Kylie P Sports 90 on Instagram. Of course, if you want to become a writer or a producer of the podcast, all you need to do is go to www.patreon.com/nerdcore and subscribe to the $15 or $25 tier. All of that information is at that link, www.patreon.com/nerdcore. Or if you're watching on YouTube, it is on the little scroller on the bottom right there. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get out of here. Brad, send them out.
All right, Roll. Thank you for being host as always. Thank you to Aiden for joining us once again for an awesome month of movies. Thank you to all those who joined us in chat. That'd be Stacey and Aiden. Thank you to all our listeners out there, all our Patreon supporters. We appreciate each and every one of you. And to end this episode, I just wanted to say thank you all for listening. It's time to go because it is the hour of the wolf. Young Yoda out. Man, did you see my man put his full weight in that slap? Bam!
That was a good fucking slap. I would have slapped the fuck